Jefferson City, and she had intended to be here today, and when something came up with her children, and she had to cancel at the last moment, and that was Miss Mindy Graves Bass. But she did send a letter, and I would like to read that to the family at this time. Message to Shirley Harrell and the Latham family. Our first communication began back in January of this year as Mrs. Harrell and her family were seeking designation of Round A to honor their parents, Edward and Opal, for all the two had accomplished for the residents of Iron and Reynolds Counties. With determination, the family declared the Latham Memorial Highway would become a reality. During this journey, I had the great privilege of working with a much respected individual as Miss Harrell and learning the history of Route A, family, and all their successes. Mrs. Harrell began as our customer, and now I am proud to say she and the Latham family are our friends. Please allow me to express my regret in not being able to take part in such an extraordinary event in honoring Edward and Opal Latham today. Each of you is in my thoughts. It is gratifying to know Route A will be known as the Latham Memorial Highway, and I look forward to one day driving the route. Congratulations to your family. I know Edward and Opal are looking down today in admiration of what their children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren achieved in honoring their legacy. God bless. Mindy Graves Bass. Paul Fitzwater for the Missouri House of Representatives, 144th District.
Thank you, Mark. Wow, what an honor it is to be here today. Again, I am State Representative Paul Fitzwater, and before I get started today, I just want to share with you, I'm sort of talking in a tunnel. I'm sharing with Randy over here. Actually, yesterday evening, I referee high school football, and it was a hot day, so I decided to ride my motorcycle to St. Louis last night to this game. And I think many of you know what happened. The game got over with about midnight, and I rode home in a torrential downpour, and I was so wet, I think I have water in my ear, and I didn't figure out how to get it out. But I was really surprised this morning. I got in about 3 o'clock, and my wife, Sandy, woke up. I said, Sandy, I can't believe I'm still here. And she goes, why? I says, I rode 83 miles in a torrential downpour, and I can't believe I didn't melt. As you can see, I'm still here, but it was been a long night, but very honored to be here today, and to be a small part of something so special. As Mark said, sometimes these things happen very easily, but then sometimes they don't. And this is my first one where I kind of ran into some roadblocks. Every year, I have people that come to me throughout the district and ask me if I could help them name a portion of a highway after maybe a veteran or a family member, and I'm always honored to do that. People think, well, just go up there and tell them you want to do this, and it just happens. Well, Mark, as you and I know, there's lots of, government's a process, and sometimes it's not as easy as others. I did actually have 2 other memorial highways this year, and the Latham Memorial Highway was part of that, but it sort of got caught up in politics, and I don't like that. You know, I tend to try and do everything that I can to make things happen for people, and I was just sort of at the status quo, and I was very discouraged that I'd let this all of you down as your representative, or some of your representatives. So I called Mindy, and I said, Mindy, what else can we do? And she said, well, we can go through the Highway Commission, and they don't meet very often, as you know. I mean, Senator Keto's the chair of that, and so I called Senator Romine. I said, can you help me out here? You know, he knows Senator Keto very well, and I said, you know, could we, can we go through the commission? She said, well, let's do it. And I talked with Mindy again, and after many phone calls, she sends me the application for the Highway Commission, and there was a signature sheet, if you know about, and I needed 100 signatures, and I thought, well, how am I going to do this? So one morning I woke up really early, and I just went to work. I left my house about 6 a.m. in the morning, and you know, it wasn't so hard getting the signatures. I mean, people, after I told them the story of Ed and Opal and the hard work that they've done over the years, it's problem was I had to tell it so many times. I mean, I wish I needed a tape recorder, so here, just listen to this. What do you think? But I worked all day long, and at 7 o'clock that night, I had that last signature, and I'm so proud of that. And I remember getting on the phone and calling Mindy. I said, Mindy, I got him. And let's go through the Highway Commission, and I called Senator Romine, and he said, I'll call Senator Kehoe, and we'll see if we can't get him to meet. And here we are. Here we are. You know, a day that I actually thought was going to be delayed a year, because I'd actually called Miss Shirley, I believe. I've talked to her so many times and said, listen, we're going to have to put this thing off for a year. And you know, many things can happen in a year. People leave us sometimes when we don't least expect it. And so I was determined and very honored to be here today, to be a small part of this. I've traveled down that road many, many times, campaigning, and even throughout the district as I travel. I love the bottom of the hill and the whoop-de-doos, and you've been through there before. I really like that. And but very honored, like I said, to be a small part, be a very, very small part of this great moment here. Looking forward to seeing the sign, and from now on, you know, when I travel a highway, that stretch of highway through there, and I see that sign, when I pass that, I'm going to look up at that and I'm going to say, you know what, I had just a little bitty small part of that as a representative. But again, thank all of you for your diligence, and I'm just so proud that I wasn't disappointing to you. But Mark, I appreciate the work that MoDOT has done. You know, it's so wonderful to work with MoDOT at the Capitol. I tell you what, when I call them up about an issue, whether it be an issue, maybe a culvert or a driveway, they're right there. I mean, they're right there, and they're very, very good to work with. And I appreciate all the service of the, and I thank MoDOT for what they've done here in making this possible also. So, Miss Shirley, on behalf of my office and all of the kids, wow, there's so many of them. I know Ed and Opal is probably looking down right now thinking, you know what? We're very, very proud of you. So thank you so much for allowing me to be here today. Thank you very much.
My pleasure to introduce to you Miss Shirley Harrell and Miss Ann Latham Will, daughters of Opal and Edward Latham.
Okay, since most of you are almost our age, we're going to read you a bit. We're not speakers, but we can read. So try and stay away, okay? This is entitled The Marks We Leave. Everything in life leaves its mark. The hair on the bottom of our fence tells us which animal has been there. The cracks in the water's edge tells us which bird has been there. An odor of perfume tells us a certain person has been there. We're going to briefly reveal some marks our parents left from their parenting skills.
One mark our mother implanted in the minds of her children was that we all had missing ingredients. It was important to her for us to understand that there is no 100% perfect specimens of humanity. Some are just a little better arranged than others. We never knew who she thought was the better arranged, but we have remained mindful of our missing ingredients.
Our dad was the disciplinarian, and he left a different kind of mark, but only on the boys. He had great hopes of them becoming law-abiding citizens. We think they have obliged him. These are just a few remarks about our parents and their parenting skills. We recall them from time to time, and all agree we would not exchange our parents for any others in the world. I think we have actually enjoyed the marks they left on us.
The next marks we want to review are the marks our parents left on our community. Our mother was a school teacher, a music teacher, and a great Bible teacher. She instituted 4-H clubs in the community and several of the surrounding communities. She was honored by the University of Missouri and her name placed on a permanent honor roll for her outstanding contributions to Missouri agriculture, leadership in the Home Economics Extension Club, home decorating workshops, etc. Politically, she was the Republican committeewoman for Iron County. She loved this area of service in general. She loved giving of herself and sharing her knowledge and talents with those about her.
Our father was also a giving and sharing man. He owned a sawmill and employed folks from the community with jobs rather than hiring from outside the community. He had herds of dairy cattle and shared milk, butter, and cream with those who didn't have the opportunity or strength of health to provide these dairy products for themselves. He was very generous in sharing the produce of his herds and land. He was serving on the school board when the consolidated art preschool was built. He was instrumental in directing the purchase of land and selecting the area where the schoolhouse stands.
These are a few of the marks our parents left on the community. We have gathered today to remember yet another mark they made, not just on the community, but on hundreds and hundreds of folks who have traveled Highway 8. And that mark was their involvement in the pavement of Highway 8. The inception of Highway 8 was in the 1800s as folks began to homestead land at Watery Creek. Highway 8 was a one-lane dirt road and remained so until 1933.
My family was living on the farm when I was born in 1932. A portion of that one lane serves as the lane to the farm today. In 1933, the crushing of gravel began for a two-lane gravel Highway 8. Our father worked on that project for a short time. It's my assumption that the folks who later purchased vehicles no longer travel by horses and wagons. It became necessary for the one-lane dirt road to become gravel highway. Along Highway 8, there were and are 4 creek crossings. When the rains come, as they often do, the creeks rise and become treacherous and impassable. Graveling of Highway 8 was completed around 1938. The cars continued to hang up in the high waters and had to be pulled out by a team of horses. Low water concrete bridges were poured, and still vehicles continued to hang up.
Highway 8 was heavily traveled by folks to the north and south of us. They connected Highways 32 and 49. Highway 8 was a shortcut, 8 miles long, to save travelers thousands and thousands of miles and hours of time going in and out. Otherwise, they would have to travel quite a distance bypassing Highway 8. In or around 1965, our mother and father decided that Highway 8 should be paved to accommodate the newer cars, the mail truck, and others trying to reach their destination. For many, many years, flooding caused us and our neighbors to be completely isolated during illnesses or emergencies. No way to get to a doctor or hospital or even to the next.
Mother decided it was time for a new and safer way of living and travel. She called for a counter to be placed over the highway. She ended up paying signatures for a petition, and she and a couple of neighbors went to Jefferson City to plead or lobby their case. She thought the time had come to move ahead in paving Highway 8. She also thought vehicles should not be allowed to hang up in those hazardous currents, damaging their motors, their interiors, etc. She thought that high water bridges should be included in the restructuring of Highway 8. Her father sold 13 acres of his land to accommodate this road bridge project, which was completed in or around 1968.
Untold numbers of folks have benefited from their efforts and probably do not even know when they are traveling Highway 8 that it was Ed and Opal Latham who were greatly responsible for modernizing and saving them such a great amount of traveling time, gasoline costs, and untold vehicle expenses from damages to their cars in those swift, dangerous, and impassable waters. This gathering today is to dedicate road signs bearing the name of the Latham Memorial Highway. This is an additional mark they made in life. We believe this honor is long overdue. We are grateful to all of you for sharing with us this dedication of the Latham Memorial Highway signs. In closing, we wish to share our mother's favorite quote. I expect to pass through this world but once. Any good, therefore, that I can do, or any kindness I can show my fellow man, let me not be deterred nor neglected, for I shall not pass this way again.
Everything in life needs its mark. Thank you, Mom. Before we sit down, thank Marks and Representative Paul Fitzwater, Marissa, and Andy, even though she couldn't be with us. And I want to thank Wilma for allowing us to host our celebration here, and also the Hinkle family for coming to provide us. Thanks all.
I think you're landlocked up there.
Probably.